people don't know about you?
Well, I have this trusty water bottle with me, kind of similar to what you have. So every day I drink probably about 6 or 7 of these water bottles. So that's my fun fact.
Got it.
So, hi guys, my name is Lachlan, which is a pretty uncommon name here. So I come from Australia. I moved here back in 2011, and my speech is sort of about how speech can really affect your success in life. So what a wonderful world we live in. You know, aside from some of the nastier aspects of this world, such as climate change, terrorism, and Donald Trump, I think that we're really living in a time like no other. And I think that one of our greatest achievements so far as human beings has been our ability to communicate around the world in just a matter of seconds. And I think that we can just tweet someone in Tehran, we can Facebook chat a friend in Florence, or we could even DM someone in Detroit, or I don't even know, message anyone anywhere. And I think that this sort of ability of ours to communicate with each other is just such an important key to success in our lives. If you have an accent, if you have a speech impediment, if you have just a weird voice in general, then it's just much harder for you to be successful in life. For example, if I told you a sentence, a really, really boring sentence, so I was like, oh, I went to the store to buy an avocado. Pretty easy to understand, right? What if I said it like this? I went out to the store to buy an avocado. You would all be like, what the hell did he just say? He's a lunatic or something. So anyway, this speech is sort of about my experiences with moving from Australia, and my childhood has probably been a lot different to a lot of yours. Growing up, instead of having snow days, we had heat days, or even one time a day off because of a sandstorm. If you guys weren't allowed to go outside during school, it was because you forgot your jackets, not because you forgot your hat. And so coming here, people will listen to my accent and they would know nothing about me unless they heard me speak. They would think, oh, there's so many races and ethnicities around. Where is this guy coming from? Like, we have no idea. He could be American, he could be English, he could be Australian. So a lot of the time after I start speaking, people think, oh, he must be from South Africa or something. I'm like, close, only 7,000 miles away, but you're pretty close. So I usually give them the benefit of the doubt though, because you don't hear much about Australians these days. But there's been a lot of research about this sort of thing by the University of Chicago. So they've been saying that if you have a hard to understand accent, then it's more than likely that people are going to think that you're lying. So earlier today, when I was telling my friends about what I was going to be doing tonight, they said, oh, so what's the main theme? And I said Spark. And they were talking to me for like 10 minutes about Star Trek and all these amazing adventure things. And I was like, yeah, I kind of see how that connects to Spark, but I'm not really quite sure what you meant by that. And so eventually I had to write it down for someone like, oh, spark, like a spark, like igniting something. And I was like, yeah, definitely. And I speak English. It's not like I'm speaking another language like Chinese or something. So I was just really shocked by that. And it must be so difficult for kids and adults who just grew up speaking Korean or Spanish or something at home. Like, I can't even imagine. And then oftentimes late at night, if I'm with an Uber driver, it's like pretty late at night on my way home, and they're telling me some really interesting story and I just can't understand them. I'll just agree with them. And I'm sure a lot of you have this experience before. If you can't understand what they're saying, maybe you're doing that to me now. But if you can't understand what they're saying, you just sort of agree with like, yeah. Which really sucks, because they could be telling you a really cool story that you might change your life and you just have never even thought about before. So my challenge to you guys is, in the future, if somebody is hard to understand, I think that you guys should all feel free to ask them more questions. I know that I'm certainly not offended when people ask me to repeat what I've said. And even when I go back to Australia these days and I see my friends there, they often look at me and think, and they listen to me and they sort of think, oh, like, you're an American, and they say that you're an American now, because I've been living here for 4 years, so I've got a bit of American twang to them. So I'm defined as the American there, and I'm defined as the Australian here. So it's just been a really good experience for me, and I think that oftentimes people like King George VI, I don't know if you guys know much about him. He was in the King's Speech. He had a really bad speech impediment, which sort of led to his inability to take the throne after his brother, King Edward, abdicated from the throne to marry a divorced woman, God forbid. So even though he had a speech impediment, he worked it out, and in the end, his speeches became more successful. So I think for you guys just listening to somebody with an accent in the future, you should just give them a chance, and then hopefully they'll be able to tell you something really cool. Thank you.